All right. Good afternoon, good evening, everyone. It's almost 5:15. Welcome to the Weekly G Show. I just came up with the name. So today I want to talk to you guys about where I left off last week. So last week I told everyone that we were going to talk about, I was going to give you guys tips on how to buy the next investment property you've been thinking about for the last few months or few years. And it was going to be a series of things we can do together moving forward, where it will help you achieve your final goal, which is to buy the next property. I was actually talking to one of the guys yesterday. So the part of what I do is essentially trying to understand where my market is at, where the mums and dads I want to deal with, where they're at today. How can we take them to the next level? There was quite interesting stats that I came across yesterday, and it's actually quite worrying and scary if you think about how much people are relying on their superannuation to get through to retirement, or how much they're relying on their just current income to be able to do what they want to do in the near future. So there was a couple of ways we thought about that could help our clients. The major one, and this is one of the biggest issue that I come across a lot with the clients, is look, we only have just enough money to be able to survive, pay a mortgage, live comfortable, have the lifestyle we want. If we buy the next property, how is that going to impact our cash flow? Fair enough question. Now, in order for me to be able to help you guys, one of the things I did was I'm actually going up to Queensland. There is a group of people I've spoken to, and this is all part of the service that I'll be doing for you guys. Hi, Barbara. Hey, Lyndall. Thanks for joining. Jason, thanks. Alexandra, thanks everyone for joining in. So as I was saying, part of what I'm doing is I'm going to fly down to Queensland to look at these properties. So the stats, when I looked at, they look amazing, but I don't feel comfortable recommending anything to my clients unless and until I have some sort of vested interest in it. For example, I might actually go and buy one of these properties I've been looking at. The things I talked about was, what is it that will stop someone from buying? Especially in Melbourne and Sydney, the market is unachievable right now, because either you go for the cash flow, which means you buy an apartment in the city, pays good returns, but there's no capital growth. Or you go for the capital growth, where you're getting a lot of traction from the prices are going up every year, but you can't afford to have the house to begin with because the outgoings are too high. So you need the balance right in the middle. This is where I decided, okay, the rental return for one of these properties is 6%, and the capital growth was last year alone was around 12 or 18%. Now that's just one way of doing it. The other thing I was thinking about was, how can we actually increase our actual income to be able to borrow? One of the many ways, there's so many experts and gurus that'll tell you this. Look, I'm not a guru in property. I'm good at finance. That's what I do. This is all just extra stuff on top that I am interested in and I like to share with my audience. The other thing was to invest in a business. Now, those of you who have never invested in a business, you don't have to own it. You just buy enough shares so you can control how you want it to be run. You can control in how the dividends are, or the money is paid back to you. But unless and until you're getting at least 100% of your return back, it is not a viable business. So what I mean by that is, you don't have to run the business, but if you're investing in a business, say for example, if you spend $40,000 in a business, you should be getting $40,000 back every year. If you're not, that's not a good investment. What that will do is two things. It will supplement your income on the side, and secondly, it will help you increase your borrowing capacity with the banks. Now, borrowing capacity, if you're buying a positively geared property, your borrowing capacity will go up as well. Now, with all the new restrictions coming up with the banks in relation to the interest-only lending being capped, the APRA and ASIC putting limits on how much the bank can lend out to investment loans and how much they can lend out to interest on principal loans and interest-only loans, it's going to get harder and harder as much as people like to think this is the worst. This is not the worst. I had a meeting today with my aggregators, BDMs, and a lot of other brokers, and the biggest topic we could discuss was how is the current market going to impact the property market in the future, the current bank's lending criteria, how is that going to impact the future? And the answer was, it's going to get tougher. And that's just not me trying to scare you. This is the reality of it. The banks need to control. David, Shu, good to see you. Tate. The banks need to control how much they lend out because, as most of you might know, in the budget that was released, they have to pay $6 billion on the major fall from their profit over the next 4 years. That needs to come out of somewhere. They're better off putting restrictions in order to control the market as well. So guys, I hope this comes in handy. This is something you might be able to use. Watch this space. I will be getting in touch with you, as I said, every week, and we will talk about next week a bit more tips on how to, hopefully by then I would have seen the properties in Queensland, and we can go from there and understand if it's something I would like to recommend to my clients. In the meantime, ask me any questions you may have. Comment in the link below if you'd like to get some help or get some advice on what to look for what to look for when you're looking to buy an investment property in relation to the home loan. Would love to help you. Have a lovely weekend. Have a lovely evening. Guys, work too much. Enjoy your night. Thank you.